There we go. Second video about the Panasonic Gh6 versus the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. So the first video was all about the features, and in this video I'm looking at the footage and seeing how big is the difference between the two sensors. Of course, we do have the specs. We know that the Gh6 has a much newer sensor with 25 megapixels, whereas on the Blackmagic Pocket, because it's an older camera, we know that that sensor, even though it's very nice, beautiful and everything, it's not as modern as this one. So except for resolution, we're going to look a little bit at the dynamic range, the color depth. We know, of course, because we're shooting in RAW on the Blackmagic Pocket 4K, RAW is going to contain much more color than ProRes. However, we know that very soon we will get ProRes or ProRes RAW on the Panasonic Gh6, so that's another video when it will come. But yeah, we're looking at the image. How big is the difference between the two cameras? Which do you prefer? I know that a lot of people prefer the Blackmagic Pocket 4K image. A lot of people will probably prefer the Gh6 image. So yeah, we're looking at these two cameras. I'm gonna do a skin test comparison on my daughter just to see how is the skin tones on the two different, how are the skin tones on the two different cameras. So that's also coming up. But yeah, just trying out the different images to see how big is the difference. Is the Pocket 4K more cinematic than the Gh6 and vice versa? Do we get more sharpness, which I actually expect on the Gh6 because we are using that 5.7 8K image. So yeah, we're gonna see it. Yeah, just continue.
So guys, welcome. Now I am in the studio and I have a couple of scenes that I would like to share with you guys, just to let you know how the difference, or what the difference is like in the footage between the Panasonic Gh6 and also the Blackmagic Pocket CInema 4K. You will be able to download this footage from a download link in the description, of course. So yeah, let me go into the footage now. Just to say, it was quite hard to focus at times because of the sunny day with the Blackmagic Pocket CInema 4K camera. But yeah, so let's look at the first footage, and I've put them all in a timeline over here, so I have them in different places so we can compare them. So here we have a landscape scene. First we have footage from the Gh6. We can see here that it says Apple ProRes 42, and then we have Blackmagic RAW 4K. And if we look at the image here, we see that it's quite a flat image, it's quite a pleasing image. Nothing is overblown, nothing is really crushed if we look here at the CinemaScope. But one thing that we will see here is that we do actually have a little bit more dynamic range in the Blackmagic RAW footage. And this you can see because the narrower the image is in the scopes, the more dynamic range you basically have. And also I have to say that this isn't really scientific, because we all know that when shooting a landscape like this could be quite a big difference when it comes to how much light is getting in and everything like that. And also I tried to have the same settings on the two cameras, but yeah, it's not always possible. So here we see an image, and if we go into the Apple ProRes, we can't use the camera raw edits here, so we have to go into the primaries, which is also great, of course. And DaVinci Resolve is known to probably be the best coloring software out there. So we're gonna play with the lift, which is the darkest parts of the image, and play with the gain, which is the lightest places in the image, and then we can play with the midtones and just try to get a great image here. So if we look at the image, we've added a little bit of contrast to this image. We do basically the same thing to the Blackmagic RAW, just to try to get the same basic effect. Oh, I went a little bit too far, and just bring down those midtones, so we add a little bit of contrast. And let's see how big is the difference between these two. We can see that we have a little bit more greens in the Panasonic footage in this landscape. And yeah, so if we want, we can make a stills grab like this, and then use the compare, and then let's see here. So to the right we have the Panasonic footage, and to the left we have the Blackmagic Pocket CInema 4K footage. Let's go into full screen and try to pixel peep a little bit, look at the sharpness. And here we actually, I feel that you can actually see the difference here in sharpness. However, for me, this difference in sharpness when you really zoom in isn't the most important thing, to be honest. You can see here that the Pocket 4K image is a little bit sharp, and I did use the same lens. So we can see here that the 5.9K or 7K is a bit sharper. Let's go into another image. You can see that they're quite comparable. One thing when you look at dynamic range is you can look at the scopes and see how large they are, but sometimes you actually can get fooled by the scopes, because depending on how flat your image is, the scopes can be different. And when you add contrast to a shot, I will show you. Let's add a little bit of contrast. You can see that the more contrast you have, the more spread your scopes are going to be. So if we compare these two, you can see that the scopes are very different. So you can get a little bit So now we have a difference. I mean, these, you can see a slight color difference in the blues, and I really like the blues on the Blackmagic, but the image is very similar, I would say. Let's do the same thing here. Grab still, and now just to compare, we can see that the image from the Pocket 6K is gonna be sharper. Let's see it even here. This is the Pocket 6K. And also here, I feel that the dynamic range is very nice. Let's take the similar. Yeah, as you can see, I couldn't really set the focus right. So let's jump from this. Here, we again see that we do have a flatter image coming out from the camera. So yeah, let's look at this image. And let's see if the highlight recovery in the raw module can help us here. You can see that it does a little difference, but it can't save us once we have clipped, which is too bad. Here I didn't clip with the Apple ProRes image. Or I did clip, but it's really hard to not clip here, but we have a little bit more dynamic range, and we can also see in the scopes that we did clip. So in these images, I did use high dynamic range boost in one of the shots, in this one, just to see how much of a difference, if any, we can see to the... So here, Blackmagic Raw, I did overexpose, and here we actually see a great piece of highlight recovery. Really does magic here. So let's go in here and try to just give this image a little bit of a contrast. But here, this is a great place where you can actually see where that recovery in the Blackmagic Raw files is really helpful. Here we have the ProRes files from the Gh6. And we can see here that we have clipped also in the and we can see that we have clipped this image in the highlights over here. Well, it actually brings it up better than I thought. Guys, let's also look at the skin tones. Here we have the skin tones on. This is actually my daughter. We're gonna bring the highlights up a little bit. And just look at the skin tones of the Panasonic. I have always loved Panasonic skin tones, but I do also love skin tones coming out from the Blackmagic cameras. Here we have Blackmagic Raw. I'm gonna do basically the same thing here. Let's look at this. Hopefully I did zoom in a little bit. Oh yeah, I did. And we see that Blackmagic Raw or Blackmagic files are a little bit warmer in the skin tones, which is really nice. So if we do compare the footage, let's see here. Get a screen grab and then go in and look at the image side by side. We can see that the Blackmagic Raw image is warmer in the skin tones, and I really do love the skin tones that you get out of the Blackmagic cameras. Let's see if we can do basically the same thing here. Let's go back to the skin tones. There we go, grab still again. So if we take that still, oh, let's see. So here we have a little bit. So yeah, looking at the skin tones, we have really nice skin tones in the Blackmagic cameras, as you can see. So that was a little bit of the things. Let's look at some different footage as well. I've shown you both overexposures and underexposures. So here we have the Apple ProRes, and looking at the scopes. Let's just stay here. It looks quite nice, and you also can see the sharpness is great. Let's bring a stills grab. Let's go into the Blackmagic Raw, the same image, and here we will probably see a difference in the turning torso that we have in the image. Let's see here, like that, and let's bring down, add some contrast. Get a similar. Here we actually see quite a big difference. I would say that the Panasonic is probably closer to reality than the Blackmagic is here, but this is a lot of what you would prefer.
So guys, there you had some examples with footage from the Panasonic Gh6 and the Blackmagic Pocket 4K camera. I will make a similar comparison between the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro camera and the Panasonic Gh6 camera. So if you want to see that video, please don't forget to subscribe, and please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And until the next time, see you soon, and bye bye.